Hello and welcome to the Slapshot Syndicate podcast. Be sure to subscribe for more content, and whilst you're at it, go and follow our social media pages. They're on screen now. Now, on to the episode.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Slapshot Syndicate. An interesting week this week, fellas. A lot of goals this week. Controversial opinions, maybe, to be developed.
Yeah, plenty to talk about this week. It's going to be an interesting one. So like you say, some goals around the league. We'll come into that. Some standout performances from certain individuals, and another just interesting results overall. So,
and a game that didn't go ahead within an hour of a team's arrival.
Yeah, crazy. We said last week, didn't we? And I predicted that this weekend would be really, really hard to predict. And it was just that one. There was goals everywhere, plenty of talking points. And boys, we've got a special interview tonight, haven't we? As everyone will have seen by the title, we've got Stewart of the Solway Sharks, who's going to be talking to us about their upcoming game and the tough start to the season. So yeah, plenty to watch for and plenty to be excited about, right?
Yeah. Well, as always, fellas, let's jump into Seahawks reaction. So fellas, Seahawks reaction, and that we're going to do after a big weekend. We faced a few comments in the past week. People saying we was a bit unjust, maybe a bit touchy-feeling with some of our comments last week. Saturday.
This was a must-win weekend for us, wasn't it? I think we all knew that we needed to come away with 4 points, really, minimum, to try and try and build some momentum more than anything. So we went to Bristol on Saturday, expecting big things, really, a turning point, perhaps a pivotal moment in Seahawks season.
I don't think it was unjust though, just going into it, Bristol in pretty bad form themselves. They've lost the last 5 or so, maybe even more at this point, so I think we was well within our rights to be a bit confident going into this game. Our firepower being talked about as previous. We've shown glimpses that we can find the back of the net. We've had some decent scoring games. We put a 9 past Solway. I think everything came together where we thought this is going to be the first game of the weekend where we should realistically go in there and get the job done.
Definitely that, mate. I think it would have been hard to bet against the Seahawks in this fixture, and I would doubt many people would have done. But unfortunately for us, we was on the receiving end of what you might call a bit of a beating. There was a bit of controversy around the fact that obviously what happened last season in Bristol towards the end of it, and how that ended really wasn't a good look for us, or Bristol, to be fair. Let's not blame Seahawks for that necessarily, but you expected, you come in here, you stay calm, collected, you go, you get your result, you get out of there, and just then it's like business as usual. We was on the receiving end of a bit of a beating, to be honest. I got the stream just to watch, and it was very disjointed. We came out in the first period, and for the first couple of minutes, I'd say we was on top. We was knocking the puck around. We had quite a lot of possession. I think Bristol were struggling a little bit, but that was very short-lived. Within sort of 10-15 minutes, Bristol got one on the board, and I've got to be honest, a lot of what I saw was counter hockey. We was really trying to get some momentum and pin them in, but in doing so, we were just leaking at the back constantly. So it was a very scrappy Hull Seahawks performance. Couldn't really get anything going, and Bristol capitalised on that emphatically. So for those of you who don't know, the result was 9-4 to Bristol Pitbulls. We could talk about this fixture all night, but ultimately wasn't good enough. I think Matt even came out himself after this game, and he doesn't normally do away interviews, but he felt the need that he needed to address this and get a message out to the fans that it isn't good enough. He's not accepting this, and things need to turn a corner. In doing that, I think he also wanted to publicly address the players, to show that I'm not going to leave this be and what it needs to be done. He was very honest, very open about it, and I sort of, well, it'd be hard to disagree with what he was saying, let's be honest, but I also respected the fact that he did come out and say that we came away with nothing that night. What should have just been a 2 points done and dusted in regulation time in a season that we're already struggling in. So you would like to walk away from that and forget about it, but I don't think you can do that easy, because there were points that were up for the taking, and we needed it. So that was my view on it. I was very nervous going into Sunday after this, and I didn't really know. We needed a reaction. We needed something to start working, and it didn't feel as good as it would normally feel walking into the Hull Ice Arena, because I was nervous because I wanted something to start clicking, but I was also very, very doubtful. And some of them lads there, might have said it before, had a bit of soul searching to do, and they had to take some responsibility for what performances they were putting in on the ice. So I'll leave it at that for the Saturday fixture, but obviously I was trying to keep you guys up to date with what was going on. What was your take as it was happening? I know I think you was busy, you was at Hull Fair, but I was messaging you at the time when I live to tell you, giving you updates as to what was happening. What was your take on it?
Yeah, so I think I sort of first clocked it on the website, that 2-0 Bristol, and I was a bit taken aback by it, to be honest with you. I was just like, oh, hang on a minute, this is not in the script, you know what I mean? It was just sort of, and I know it was quick succession goals as well, wasn't it? So they got one and it was instantly two, and you thought, oh, hang on a minute, what's happening? And then, like you say, you was messaging me, and it was like, oh yeah, they're just countering us, we can't get any control of the game, and yada yada yada, and you think, well, what's so bad? It was hard to sort of comprehend in my mind what was happening, because like you say, you was updating and you think, right, okay, we're going to come back into this at some point. We've got the ability and the quality to get back in this game, and then it was 3 and then 4, and I think we eventually got 1 back. He was like, right, okay, this is something to build on, but then it went 5 and then 6, and he's like, oh, what's happening here? Like you say, it's not just necessarily a bad game, is it? When you say 9-4, you don't think, oh, it just got away from you. That is a total sort of hammering, really.
Yeah, definitely. There are games you can come away from and go, that didn't just go out. That didn't go our way. We didn't come away with the results, and that's the way it is sometimes. But when your opposition's taking a 5-goal lead on you, and some of the goals we scored was in the last 10 minutes of the last period, so it could have been even worse than that. Like you, exactly what you said there. First 2 goals going for Bristol, I'm thinking, I'm not that worried yet. Like, we've got time, we've got the quality, we can get back into it easy. And as sort of the mid-second period comes in, I'm thinking, I don't know now, that this is a big ask.
As time starts to fall away and there's no real reaction.
This is a big ask for the lads, and I just wanted to give a bit of a shout out in that performance to Bo Reeder again, because he was quality. I think he was really trying, but wasn't good enough at all. Can
I personally haven't watched the highlights. I don't know if they've been uploaded or not yet, but I don't want to. I know it sounds really stupid. I don't mean it in a disrespectful way at all, but I won't take enjoyment from watching that. I don't want to see Seahawks getting battered. I don't want to see him shipping 9 goals. So for me, I'll just look at the stats, how they are, and obviously take your word for it. But I do think in this moment as well, it's important that we don't just shimmy on to Sunday and give Bristol some credit, because they're something that leaves a bit more of a sour taste in the mouth is the fact that they haven't had a great run in. And this is really one that we would have circled this weekend and said, this is the 4-point weekend, it's a must. But for them to come out and put 9 past us, I know we haven't had the best start, but we've still had wins, a couple of wins in the last couple of weekends. So who are the standouts for you, Brad, and who do you think in terms of Bristol deserves that I know there's the big guns, obviously, but
Yeah.
was there anybody else that took your eye?
Yeah, I mean, Reece Smethan, he was a good player. Harewood as well, he played fantastic. Obviously, like you said, you've got your bigger players like Jake Bricknell, John Dunbar. They knew what was coming. So I think after the first couple of goals, when they saw Seahawks getting a bit exposed, they then knew they knew their game plan for the rest of the match. And hats off to them, because you've got to have that quality in your team to be able to capitalise on those sort of issues. But yeah, there was a few. Tanner Butler, he had a good game for Bristol.
Goals, right?
Yeah, he scored a couple of goals. Sean Morris, I think he got a goal as well. There was some good play from Bristol. The commentator was saying they really started to look like a team.
Yeah.
It was just unfortunate that was against us
on
Saturday.
It happens to be at the expense of us. And I think one thing that Matty mentioned in his interview as well, coming out of this one before we got to Sunday, was Huey was one of the only players to come out of that Bristol game
with credibility.
Not smelling of roses, but with credibility, because he really went in on the players after on the interview.
Yeah,
but how was Huey?
Good point. Yeah, no, Huey was solid. He's a proven winner, and we've said this time and time again, his experience shines through. I think in games like this, it's easy to just say like this is the way it's going, whereas Huey tries to find things, tries to find differences and different ways to play, and pull the team out of it and get them playing differently. And you could see he was trying that. He was trying to just pull something out of them. Just obviously. It's a bit of an ask really on a night like that, but he had a good performance. Tommy Spraggs had in terms of he had an okay performance. I won't say it was phenomenal, because obviously the results speaks for themselves, but he seems to do all right there. But all in all, just not good enough. What more can you say on it?
Was you happy to see the final buzzer when it came in?
Yeah, sort of. I think, like I said, as we sort of got past the 10 minutes in the third period, it was a bit like, okay, I think we've just got to take our medicine from this now and move on, and damage limitation really. Let's just not try and concede more.
It would have been worse if it had been double figures. I think that's a hang on.
Yeah. Definitely.
I don't think anybody's been double figured yet this season.
No.
So to have been the first, it wouldn't have been a great way to get us
There's a
going.
couple of nines, aren't they? But
yeah.
the first time.
No. So should we leave Saturday there then and move on to Sunday? So Sunday, Hull Arena, based in Stoke Bison, came to town. Obviously, they was meant to have their home game on the Saturday, which didn't happen. Late call there. That game was called off against Solway, so they sort of had the night off, rest up, and then travel down to Hull the next day. Obviously, Matty's interview, embarrassing, not good enough. Hope for a reaction. Didn't quite happen.
Not immediately, did it?
No.
And I feel like at the start of the game you could feel the intensity in the air, or the tension. Sorry, you could cut the tension with a knife, and that wasn't just on our side. I think it was on the player side as well. It was almost as if like you didn't want to make a mistake. And when they scored that first power play goal, and it went in, it was almost like it
was instant as well.
It was
literally like
boom, boom, boom.
Power play. I think, I can't remember who it was,
seconds.
but I think, he barely just touched his ring piece on the chair. It was a zip pass across the blue line, back door, boof, there you go. And you think, okay, we're in for it tonight then, are we?
Yeah, it was like, and we've said, haven't we, the Bison aren't going to be a team that are just going to come and roll over. They're not.
No.
They play like hard hockey on the fore. They want to be on the forecheck. They put the puck on the keeper and then chase after it. They're not putting it into daft areas. There was good value, wasn't they, for I'd say a large part of the game.
Yeah, I just, like you say, we started off 2-0 down. I'm immediately thinking, this is how last night started. And that we could be in for, a bit of egg on our face as a team, really, and so definitely some medicine to take. But yeah, Basingstoke were playing hard. They were clearly starting to gel, and we needed something quickly. If we didn't find it quickly, this score could have got away from us. And from where we sit, we could see Matty on the bench as well, and in sort of almost disbelief at the start of the game, as if to say, I can't believe you lads are doing this again, because we talked about what he said on Saturday night, and it was essentially they need to step up. They need to step up and show that they want to be in this team.
I mean, for me, I'd love to have been a fly on the wall in that first period break. 2-0 down at home after the night before.
Especially after those conversations.
But would it have been, is it going to be that go in there, kick and scream, or is it just walk in there and just go?
Well,
so
everything that we've discussed,
everything
that we've spoke about today.
There's 1,100 people out there. You know, do you think this is good enough?
Yeah.
You know,
like your parents, I'm not angry.
I've had to go at you. Yeah, I've had to have a go at you. I've shouted and screamed at you last night. I've publicly said it's embarrassing.
There's going to be changes.
You know, we're all grown men here. Take a bit on the chin, get out there and do it for your own fans, and you're 2-0 down.
Yeah.
But credit where credit's due. Something was said, something happened, and second period came out, and we started to move it around and get some decent play going, and we finally started to hit the back of the net.
Yeah, definitely. Let's just obviously talk about that. Something, like you say, something was definitely said in that first break, and we came out. It was still deadlock for a while, but we managed to get the result. It was 28 minutes in was the power play goal. Owen Sobchak, one of our imports, who needed a goal that night. And obviously our top line there, Owen Sobchak, Chamberlain, Svek, contributing towards contributing towards that goal. I think that was a very pivotal moment in that game. We needed it big time. And yeah, that was sort of like the ignition.
It got the fans back in there as well, didn't it? Like you say, the place went up a bit. It was like, right, here we go.
Yeah.
It was just sort of like, you're trying to start the car and it's and all of a sudden, hey, here we go, we're off. Let's get going.
It was like you just said, though, 28 minutes in, it was nearly the half of the game.
Yeah.
They were 2-0 up. As the time ticked on, it got more and more like, we need this. And they did come out very solid in the start of the second period, was playing the puck around really well.
To me, what you said, I feel sick.
I genuinely did feel sick, because I was like, I just don't know what's going to happen here. And after what Matty said in the interview on Saturday night, it was like there's going to be changes to be made. I almost felt like a lot of those players were coming out to keep their Seahawks career or to keep their place in Seahawks alive. I've never seen someone move about the rink so much as Lee Bonner and Johnny Corneal last night.
Do you know what though? Actually, I just want to give a massiff shout out to Bobby Chamberlain, because he was instrumental that night. We know he's been battling a bit of a upper body injury, and I actually sat out on Saturday night against Bristol, but he just showed how instrumental he is.
It was a real captain's performance.
Yeah, 100%. If anybody was going to get these going, it was him, and he really stood up to it. So I just wanted to give him a big shout out, because it was exactly what we needed.
Yeah, I also feel that equally as important in the game was that hit that was made on Karanen. It was a fair hit in my mind, but it was just sort of like open ice. His head come up and he just got levered by the base of Stoke import. Shankar, and he absolutely nailed him. And we was a little bit disappointed at first, weren't we? Because there sort of like wasn't much of a reaction. Because in my mind, we was like, right, he's got to go and he's got to go.
But then on the bench, did you see Bobby? Then?
Bobby was up and was just like, get me on here. He's going
straight over to the box where he was sat down as if to be like, come on, then.
That sort of like instantly changed the game, because all of a sudden it turned like the game into a war, didn't it? And I think I said it a few times, like, we're in the trenches now. We are like literally up against it now, and it sort of like favoured us. And I think that's been maybe missing from us a bit this season, where we've tried to play with skill and flair as opposed to like, we're going to war now, lads. You know what I mean? Trying to get a bit gritty.
Maybe that was a bad choice for Bison to try and play hard buggers against the Seahawks. You're not going to win that game.
As good as I didn't have an issue with like the hit, it was a good solid hit, but like there was nothing else in the game that was like sort of there. He didn't really need to make the hit, in my opinion. It was sort of like
puck had maybe already gone.
Let's just like
it was almost like an ego move.
It was a North American move, that one. Like, you see that quite a lot, and people just spring back up. But over here, it's like, if you're doing that to one of our Banes, or if you're going to do that to one of our important players, you're going to get your head punched in.
But this isn't one of those things where like obviously an import's come into into the league, and we've got this, renowned sort of reputation of being quite a hostile place, and did it just flick a switch in the crowd? Like, the goals got the fans back into it, but instantly, as soon as that happened, it was red hot, wasn't it? It made the game a good spectacle as well.
Yeah.
You don't want to see anybody get hurt, obviously, but once it starts getting a bit nasty and a bit, it really was.
I think I said to both of you separately last night, like, I think there'll be a fight tonight. I think someone's going to...
You did in the car, you said to me when you got there, I think you said to us.
Because it's needed. It's needed more than anything. And I'm glad that we didn't go out looking for it.
And I'm glad it wasn't a usual suspect as well. Like, the obvious one is, Bobby Chamberlain's jumped in there, dropped the gloves and levered somebody. But to see Decky Jones... I know he got his penalty for a bit of a clout in the face on the player, but then somebody's like, "No, sod this," and starts giving the lad a few points.
And to be fair to Deck, like, not a lot. I've seen a couple of people mention him, but arguably Deck turned that game on its head. When it was really flat, he was the one to sort of. He'd already had a penalty against him, but I know obviously he's got the ejected and he won't play the next game now, which is a shame, but he really did take one for the team, and there's people there's like one or two calling for MVP of the game, and at first I was like, but then when you think about where the game was and where the game went to after that, it's kind of like, I maybe wouldn't say man of the match kind of thing, but I do get the thought behind it, and how important he played.
But like I say, the only obvious other person to jump in there is like Bobby, and then Bobby gets ejected, and then we're in a position where Bobby's missing games, or he isn't in that game, and then you think, well, one of our top goal scorers is now out. He's done the right thing in protecting his team. So Jonesy going, do you know what? I'll jump in here and I'll take one. No discredit to Jonesy, but obviously he's like a fourth line player, and having somebody like that to jump in there. Fair play.
Absolutely.
I rated that. That was needed. Walking into that rink to start with, I would have never imagined that the atmosphere would have been the way it was when that sort of, like you say, turned on its head. So fair play. That was the turning point for Hull Seahawks. We really got stuck in at that point, and the goals came. So I am hopeful that is what we needed to turn that corner. And if they can take some of that sort of fire in the belly and know that it's not being accepted, they've got to keep the momentum going. We will hopefully start churning out some results, and I say that hopingly.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, so you say we turn a corner there. Do you, in your opinion, then do we continue? Matty said obviously there's going to be changes. Do you still think we do changes, or do we let the emotion go down a bit? We've shown a bit more resilience, a bit more fight, and do we just stay as we are and keep going?
It depends what the changes are, because like you said, we was all sort of expecting like someone's next on the chopping block here. Like someone's not performing and someone's out the door. That's how it felt going in, but we don't know what the changes actually were. If that was going to be a case of someone's out the door, or it was going to just switch things up.
I don't know.
We don't know that, but I mean, most of our imports came in and put in a performance after that.
I genuinely think I've not seen them all move about so much in a while.
But it shouldn't really come to that, should it? It shouldn't be like a public sort of bollocking.
No, I agree.
Like, we're going to really graft our.
I agree, and I think in terms of. We had people messaging us from like different, social media accounts or whatever, saying, "Who do you think will be gone?" And I think these two need to go. Oh, you might even get rid of 3 of them, and we didn't even play up to it because I thought we're not going to address that. We're not going to get into that sticky situation. That's obviously not a decision for us to be made, for the fans to be made. Matty knows the inside of the club. He knows what's going on there. And he'll be the person to make those changes. But I'm with you, Brad. I thought that was more of a... He's told somebody in that locker room, right, you're not cutting it, see you later. Obviously that want to be, but at the same time, that message has definitely resonated through a few people, because, like we say, we got there on the Sunday, and there was a couple of players that was playing out of the skin. I don't know who it was that I spoke to about it, but I get like the vibe from like Lee Bonner from the off. He probably sat there on the Saturday night and thought, what Matty's saying now ain't as much of a reflection on me as everybody else, but I'm still going to go out there and I'm still going to lead by example, because he was up and down and hitting, and he had his fist locked and loaded for people, like literally. And I think, there was some real good performances, and obviously man of the match on the night went to Johnny, who was exactly the same, didn't they? So it's interesting.
Yeah, but for me, I feel like there's other players that we could have shouted out to. I think Max Wright for them in goal was a worldie.
Yeah.
You know, he was pulling up trees all night. But then flip side, Jordan McLaughlin was also class. You know, consider them 2 goals early on. You know, things looking a bit down the night before. It might be on his mind like, we need to put in a real good performance here.
Pressure,
but I'll tell you what, there was times where we was like down to 3 skaters. We had that 5-on-3, and there was unloading shots on him, but he was holding it, saving it, and stopping it. And there must have been at some point just like, we can't get another goal here. What's going on here? But, and he was class.
And those 2 goals that he conceded, like, it was a backdoor, like, really hard one to save, and the second one literally like tinked off the bottom of the post in, like, really hard one to save. But other than that, like you said, boys, he didn't really step a foot wrong, did it?
No.
I don't know that saying, put a foot wrong last night.
Yeah.
And the best thing about it, I felt, was all the boom catch.
It was glove
catch.
Like,
it wasn't
like we've said before. Instead of just like the rebounds like he's been known to do before and allow second chances, it was just like caught that.
He's just playing with that confidence, and it's like he's come into this season and thought, you know what, I'm going to get my head down here and I'm going to get back in the spot. And arguably he's put a performance in last night where if he started next weekend, you won't be able to argue with it, would you? If Matty turned around and said, you know what, I'm going to have one keeper this weekend, Geordie's name's right in the hat, because he's really done himself a massive bit of credit there.
Yeah, definitely. Right, shall we move on from this and summarise that it's been I just want to say, like, I came out of Hull Arena on Sunday probably prematurely, but feeling like I could breathe a little bit, and that's more out of hope. Like, we've shown a sign, we've shown that we can do it. We've shown that, you know, we can come from behind and take a game. Hopefully that's something that we can take away from it. So I'm trying to take the positive out of what was still overall a bit of a, you know, disappointing weekend when you expect to get 4 points. But that was the positive I was taking away from it. Okay, here's the signs. We can do it. We have got the firepower when they are on. So let's move forward and try and build something.
Yeah, for me, I'd just like to see maybe get more into that, going into the trenches sort of play style. You know, if we can't play with that flair and quality that we're trying to play with and look like a high class team, then I think at some point you just got to say, lads, we're going to take this, like, you know, not dirty and wrong, but
drag people down.
Yeah. All right, let's bring it down.
Right, look at last season when we beat the likes of Leeds and stuff like that. That's what we did.
Yeah.
Pull them down, then play our good hockey because we can.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Yeah, it was a mixed bag weekend. It was good to get the win, obviously.
Massive.
You know, I still don't want to jump straight in and be like, oh my god, because obviously there's still an issue there. It'll get addressed. I think it'll be interesting to see what comes in the next few weeks.
I agree.
You know, and still some tough games coming up in the week or two. So, yeah, hopefully it is a platform, but obviously I think there will be still something to change. That concludes the Seahawks reaction this week. So now we're going to look at the rest of the results from the past weekend, fellas. As we mentioned in our intro, some high-scoring games, a lot of goals were put away this weekend. Let's dive into it and see who did what then. So, first game was on the Friday, 17th of October. Sheffield Steel Dogs hosted the Leeds Knights. So this one was a tight game. Leeds taking it 3-2.
Yeah. Obviously, we've had our opinions on Steel Dogs so far, but you'd have probably said the odds were stacked against them on this. Obviously, they didn't come away with the result. So for those of you who don't know, it was 3-2 to Leeds Knights. But I think there's some positives for them to take in that game. So hopefully for them, it again, like similar with us, it's something to build on. But yeah, Leeds Knights needed that win and showed what they're about and come away with it.
They continue to sort of build their momentum, Leeds, don't they? It's like they've got nobody in their rearview mirror. They're just looking forwards. And they're building something really good. However, I do want to give a bit of credit to Sheffield here, because Leeds have put some goals past teams in the last couple of weeks, haven't they? And to keep them to a 3-2 win is not shoddy at all, and that could be a sort of basis that for them to move on and refine that form that we was all sort of looking and seeing at the start of the year. So I don't think that's a massively bad result for Sheffield, to be honest.
No, I think when we get to it, you look at the what the teams did on the rest of the weekend, it sort of reflects that it was a real cagey, close game.
Yeah.
But when like the games are played on the other weekend, like obviously Leeds played Milton Keynes, stark contrast.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah,
a
definitely.
real interesting tie. That it'd been interesting to have seen that one.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So moving to the Saturday, first game on the Saturday, Swindon Wildcats hosted the Peterborough Phantoms. I don't think any of us sort of estimated how much of a gap this would have been.
Yeah, I can't remember now, but I've got just a feeling inside of me that went Peterborough on this in our predictions, and this is where I might have ended up with a bit of egg on my face.
Before this game, you would back Peterborough to go and give Swindon a good game. You know, Swindon are that team that can go away and get points and stuff like that. But I think they'd have been really disappointed with this one.
Yeah, so Swindon taking this one 5-1. You know, Peterborough, in the past couple of weeks we've said, oh yeah, Peterborough at home this, Peterborough at this, that and the other. And it sort of slips away from a little bit this one. You know, a bit of an unexpected. I think we all sort of went, you know, 5-4, 3-2, that sort of, because we expected a close game. But Swindon showing that sort of champion mentality, just brushing them aside.
Yeah. Maybe it's people, you know, underestimating their D as well, how tough they are to score against. But
I mean, when you've got a keeper like Rennie Marr, it's already difficult. But put Ben O'Connor, Ryan Wells, Plowsy, you know, Godfrey, all these players in front, like, it's really tricky.
They can absorb a lot of pressure, can't they? And, you know, a team's like trying to apply the pressure on you and they don't realise they're slowly letting the back door slip. And all of a sudden they can just go, boop, off you go, Ben, we're in.
But that's it, and they can absorb all this pressure, but then they can go forward and score. Like, Wellesley got some goals last week, Plowsy scored this week. You know what I mean? Like, the two-way, they're absorbing, soaking it all in, and they're going to go, right, then we're going to jump on you, and boom.
It's not even that, though. They can literally, you know, puck drops, and they can come at you with that offensive like gameplay. And if they take the lead against you, obviously then your mentality's got to change to, we have to chase this a bit. And like you say, they'll just sort of sit there, take a bit of the beating, and then just beat you like that.
Thing again.
You just can't seem to really win against them, to be honest. It's a real tough one, that. Ooh, this next one, So we've covered this one. It still hurts. Bristol Pitbulls taking Hull Seahawks to the cleaners. 9-4 victory, Bristol.
Moving on swiftly.
So the next game was Milton Keynes Lightning hosting the Telford Tigers. One of those games of the weekend where we were sort of like, ooh, which way is this going to go? Which way is this going to go? And in the end, Milton Keynes at home taking it 7-5. So I know we've said, you know, previous weeks, I think it was last week where they had like a Leeds Knights over, and we said sort of like, Milton Keynes at home, oof, you don't go there and do this. Leeds did. So now it's, again, Telford Tigers going to Milton Keynes. Oh, what's going to happen? And that's why we questioned it a little bit. But Milton Keynes coming in strong.
I want to 99% say, I think it was you as said this might be game of the weekend. Because I was like, oh, Leeds and MK is going to be game of the weekend. You was like, no, it won't. MK and Telford will be, and the score reflects that very much, doesn't it? Like, if you bought this stream, your money was well spent, wasn't it?
She was getting plenty of action and goals, wasn't it?
But a big reaction from MK as well. Let's not, you know, let's not discredit them. You know, they took a bit of a beating last week, didn't they? And if I'm remembering correctly, they only came away with 1 point last weekend.
Like I said, I think Leeds took them to a bit of the cleaners at home. It was like 6-2 or something.
And then they went to overtime with Sheffield, didn't they? Sheffield beat them. So the real, like, you can imagine Tim Wallace was down the throats this week saying you better go out and perform, and Telford definitely didn't give them it easy.
No.
It's good because, like you say, it's easy to say Telford, they're doing well this season, but you've got to think of like Telford last season where they struggled a lot. So it's easy just to be like, oh yeah, but they're a good side, but they're only just becoming a good side this season. So I still think that is a good performance for Telford.
Absolutely, there's no shame in that.
No. The final game on the Saturday, Sheffield Steel Dogs hosted the Romford Raiders, and this one again was just an absolute goal fest.
Talking about goal fests, it's got something's been in the air in these ice rinks this weekend, hasn't it?
9-6 as well.
In the favour of Sheffield Steel Dogs.
Yeah. I was quite surprised I was very surprised at this result, to be honest. I actually thought Romford could have easily taken this one from Sheffield, especially when we've talked about, you know, their netminder. CC. He could have made this really difficult for them, but Sheffield, credit where credit due, put 9 past him.
This is what I'm saying though, when you look at the Steel Dogs versus Leeds Knights on the Friday, and it just been like a 2-3 game, but then Sheffield have then dialed themselves back in, like you say, against a hot goalkeeper, you know, and Nan past him. Thanks for coming, son.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some statement to recover
They'll
like
be
that.
thinking, won't they? Right, we've had a good game against Leeds. Let's have like we just said. Let's have we've got a platform now. On the way back from there, they'll be like, right, boys, we've turned a corner now. Like, let's get on the ice this week. Get back to where we are, and because the roster's pretty stacked, and I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head who Steel Dogs have got next week, but I probably wouldn't fancy it.
No.
If you could choose a team, especially with this circumstances, putting Nan past a player like CC's no shame at all. Is
no,
it?
absolutely not. So that was the last game on the Saturday. Moving into the Sunday, Leeds Knights hosted the Milton Keynes Lightning. So obviously we just mentioned how Milton Keynes did themselves great justice against Telford. Went to Leeds and lost 6-2. So a bit of a tough one. Like you say, Tim Wallace would have been like, right, we've pulled out a big result there, at home against Telford, but now we need to go against a team that are starting to build themselves up a bit. Previous winners of cups, leagues, you'd say, title contender, and it sort of hasn't come as one.
Need to give massive credit to Leeds here. I don't know whether it was a case of MK coming and playing poor or Leeds are just that team at the minute.
Yeah.
But that it's not just a scrapey win, that is it. It's quite resounding, really.
Yeah.
I think it's back-to-back games. Leeds have done this against MK now, though.
Yeah.
So it's not a fluke, is it?
Home and away. Not just like, you've had 2 games at the Castle and we're quite good here. Like, we'll come to your barn and beat you, then you come to our barns and we'll beat you again. Just slapping them with a fish, like, you like it? No? Tough.
Stop it, it's already dead.
But fair play to Leeds, like, again, I said to you, didn't I, on the way home, I'm going to have to publicly apologise to Leeds because I put them 5th. What an idiot.
Yeah.
Like when we was doing those league tables.
Yeah, predictors.
But it was just based off the pre-season. It sort of was like a bit of a slow start. What a donut I am, genuinely.
I think we all said it, even I'd be the same and say I'd have to apologise because as much as I put them thereabouts, like watching them, I was like, oh yeah, they're not going to be the same team this year.
Yeah.
They haven't got the quality
What
of
do
depth.
we know? Idiots. What do we know?
Obviously a bit of favouritism to the best team in Yorkshire, obviously, that's all it is.
Yeah, something like that.
So the next game then, fellas, Romford Raiders hosted the Bristol Pitbulls. Romford taking this one 4-3 in a shootout.
Yeah, a big win for Romford. This was you were just going to say.
I was exactly that.
Yeah, it is. I mean, obviously taking it to shootout, but Bristol having done what they did to us on the Saturday night, they would have fancied this one big time.
Yeah.
Obviously they come away with a point, so pretty decent weekend for Bristol.
Credit for them,
all told, but Romford, they needed that win and they went and did the business.
After the tricky game, the night before against Sheffield, conceding 9 there, you'd like, where's it gone wrong here, lads? We're better than that.
You want it in regulation time, but at the end of the day, that additional point,
a win's a win.
Don't matter how it comes.
And also, Bristol scored 9 the night before as well. So you've almost got that. These lot are going to really fancy it tonight. Like we need to be tight, and they've pulled themselves together and got a really, really important 2 points to keep them with the top pack sort of thing. Rather than those teams who are sort of struggling a little bit to start off. So a credit to Raiders. Again, we say it every week, but we buried them at the start of the season saying they're not going to do much, and
they're coming good
out.
Been a bit of like a Peterborough from last season.
Yeah.
Do you know where they're just sort of ticking
Under the
over and doing
radar.
the business? They are taking some defeats, but then they're getting some nice little wins as well.
Yeah.
They're almost like not getting 0 point weekends.
Exactly.
You almost
It's
guarantee
2
they
points,
get
2 points.
and
No one's really
check.
looking because it's not like a big flashy 4 point, but
Well, coming into the season, they'll be 6, 7 for 8. Playoffs is there. Happy days.
Definitely, mate, 100%.
Next game, Hull Seahawks hosted the Basingstoke Bison. Big win for the Hull Seahawks, 5-2. Back on the win margin. Bit more positive than the Saturday.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much else to say about that.
No, definitely not.
Peterborough Phantoms hosted the Solway Sharks. Peterborough taking this one 6-5 in a shootout, but I don't think it's the true story of the game, is it? Really?
Tough one for Solway, this, innit? I just want to actually, for those.
I'm sure there was 4-1 up as well at one point. So
I was going to say for
Feels
those who
so
haven't
bad
seen,
for Solway.
it was what's that? 4-1 up. I think at one point.
They went to Peterborough with 5 defencemen. How many minutes will those 5 lads have put in that night? And to come away with 1 point must have been so gutting. But on the flip side, sometimes they've been going to places and getting belted 8-2 and all this, that, the other, aren't they? So
as we've said before, Peterborough, hard place to go and travel. Peterborough at home and this, that, and the other, and they've gone there. Yeah, they was leading 4-1. They might have lost it in the end, but there's some great
things to take.
Yeah, absolutely.
Individual play shout-outs to Lackinen and Cam Huff, though, from Peterborough Phantoms, because that's some performance from them to get them over the line.
Yeah. And our guy Jay Bolts for Solway as well. He's got a couple of points on the board there, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
So fair play to him.
Final fixture then, lads, of the weekend. Telford Tigers hosting the Swindon Wildcats. This one again had eyes on it. Sort of the top two in the league. Where was this going to go? Telford taking it 4-3.
I think these two teams, both at home, are the hardest teams to beat at home. Given obviously Swindon's result against Peterborough on Saturday, and then the Sunday result for Telford. If you're going to these rinks, one of their rinks, and think you're going to take something, think again. I think because they've got it nailed on, haven't they? Telford coming away with this one 4-3, and obviously in a very, very good performance.
Swindon's first regulation loss of the season, that's a massive, isn't it? They've had an overtime loss, I think. But to be the only team in 10 games or 9 games,
tight game though, and we probably predicted. I think I actually went for Swindon on this one. With that form.
I agree. I did too.
And fair play to Telford for showing that they will be thereabouts. Going in the distance. Fair play to them.
Yeah.
With that said, then, fellas, shall we jump into the standings and have a look and see who's finished where in the league? Start with the league. Do you want to run with this one?
I will do, yeah. So, league first place, Swindon Wildcats. They've played 10, are on 17 points. Second place is Leeds Knights, jumped up the table, I think, quite well there. They've played 10 and are on 16 points. So just 1 point in at the top at the moment. Telford Tigers in third, they've played 9 and are on 13 points. Peterborough Phantoms in fourth, 9 played, 12 points. Sheffield Steel Dogs in fifth, 10 played, 11 points. Milton Keynes Lightning in sixth, they've played 9 and are on 11 points. Hull Seahawks in seventh, 9 played, 7 points. Romford Raiders in eighth, 9 played, 7 points. Bristol Pitbulls in ninth, 9 played, 6 points. Solway Sharks in 10th, 8 played, 3 points. Obviously, they've played quite a lot less than, one more less than most, but 2 less than others, given the antics of the weekend. And in 11th position is a Basingstoke Bison, who have only played 4 games at the moment, so are on 2 points, so haven't really got an accurate reflection on where they're at the moment.
No, I think it's interesting, though, to note on there that there is these little gaps forming now. So, what is it there? You look just after Leeds. I know Telford have still got a game in hand, but it's 3 points at the minute. If Telford don't get that win, it's a nice little 3-point gap there at the top. And then I think the same can be said. Milton Keynes 6th, 11 points, and then Seahawks in 7th, 7 points. There's 4-point gap there. You can see these little gaps just starting to form now in the table. It's be interesting to see how these play out going. Towards Christmas, and if these
form's important now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we'll go into the cup then. Currently, Sheffield Steel Dogs in first position. They've played 6, are on 8 points. Swindon Wildcats in second, played 4, 7 points. Telford Tigers in third, 5 played, 7 points. Milton Keynes Lightning in fourth, 6th played, 7 points. Hull Seahawks in 5th, 7 played, 7 points. Peterborough Phantoms in 6th, 4 played, 6 points. Leeds Knights in 7th, 5 played, 6 points. Bristol Pitbulls in 8th, 5 played, 4 points. Romford Raiders in 9th, 5 played, 4 points. Solway Sharks in 10th, 3 played, 2 points. And the Basingstoke Bison in 11th with 4 played and 2 points. So Sheffield fancy this one, then I'm taking that. But obviously you've got Swindon, who have only played 4 and are still sat in second.
This is it, isn't it? Both Swindon and Telford have still got games in hand here where the form that both of them are in, you'd expect them to push on with those. Swindon 2 games, they expect another maybe 4 points, which puts them in double figures on the cup there. So it looks good for Sheffield at the moment. I'm sure 8 points looks to be a nice little position to find yourself in at the minute, because there's a bit of a pack on 7 behind you. Not all of them will make it much further. Matty Davis has already said that the Seahawks are pretty much out of contention for the cup.
Yeah.
So there's teams that are starting to find themselves potentially where they will and won't be, and we're going to see the cut off really.
One to watch for this one though is Peterborough. Look, they've only played 4 and they've got 6 points already. So by the time they catch up with other people, they could be up there as well. They might be like a dark horse for the cup. Because let's remember, it's the top 4 that go in there. So there's always a chance there that they could sneak in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, a win for Peterborough there, even putting on 5 games, still puts them at 8 points, which puts them, again, ahead of that pack.
Exactly.
So it's interesting to see how the cup will sort of align itself in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That finishes up there then, fellas. Let's look at our team of the week. So now it's time to look at our team of the week for this past week. Some interesting candidates this week, fellas. Some standout performances. We could have easily had some rinse and repeat players in here, but I think we've tried to swap it up a little bit, put some new faces in. I'll start us off. Netminder, this guy has been in our team of the week for countless number of times. And it's Sam Gospel of the Leeds Knights. 78 saves in an 82 shot over the weekend. 0.98% save average. This is an absolute joke, isn't it, really? And obviously that high percentage accumulated to a 4-point weekend against Sheffield and Milton Keynes, and that is what's skyrocketing Leeds up the table, and they're finding that form again of champions.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, well played, Sam. Moving on to our first defenceman in team of the week is Telford Tigers, Deacon Fielder. Deke's obviously a good friend of the podcast, but it would have been difficult, in my opinion, to keep him out of this week's team of the week. He's had a really good weekend. So you got 3 assists versus Swindon in obviously as a D-man, which is contributed to their 4-3 win over Swindon, which is arguably going to be one of the biggest games of their certainly early start of the season, and at home as well. So we know they're a force to be reckoned with, and I actually think Deacon Fielder's the core behind that in the Telford team. So they've obviously took him to the sword, and that's Swindon's first loss in regular season. So well played. That's some good results for a D-man.
Yeah, it is, absolutely.
Our next defenceman is from the MK Lightning, and it's Malik Martelli. This is more based on their home game, but they had a red hot Telford in town, and you know that he's really helped to ground out a tough win against those. So this is Malik Martelli. He's got 1 goal and 2 assists versus Telford as well, which obviously, if they hadn't have had those 3 goals, it'd have been a 5-4 win to Telford. So, you know, it's a little bit stat-based, this one, but, you know, Malik is good value, I think, for his place in Team of the Week this week. I think he's had a really good game there.
Yeah, he's a really good defenseman, big fan of his. First forward, Walker Sommer of the Sheffield Steel Dogs. You know, a guy we've had an eye on for a little while now. He's a great goal scorer, doesn't sort of mess about, he's just all action, puck in the back of the net. Really like to watch him play. 4 goals and a huge win versus Romford, and he played well in a very tough game against Leeds on the Friday. Obviously, you know, Leeds took that 3-2, but you know, he's becoming the real catalyst again. He's starting to get his numbers going. You know, 50 plus goals last season. He was
and 4 goals as well. Like 4 points is great. 4 goals is a statement.
Absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah.
Okay, so our next forward is a Bristol Pitbull, Jake Britnell. He's had a great weekend. He seems to have refound a bit of form now. Fair to say he started off relatively slow, so hopefully this is, you know, for him, this is him picking up. He managed a 1+2 versus Hull and their win on Saturday, which was a massive win for Bristol. And 2+1 versus Romford in obviously an overtime loss on the Sunday, but again playing a pivotal role for Bristol. So well done.
Yeah, I think it's really good to see him back sort of towards his best. You know, we was dubbing him Jake the Snake last season. He seemed to be in it every week, didn't he, when he was with Swindon, and you know, 100+ point scorer for the season. But he's mixing it up quite nicely. A lot of goals and a lot of assists. So yeah, it's good to see. He seems to be seemingly just finding his feet real nicely now.
I think we need to give his mate JD a shout out as well. He had a really solid weekend for the.
Yes, he did. Yeah, John Dunbar had a really good game.
So finally, our last forward for Team of the Week this week is Peterborough Phantoms forward Cam Huff. So Cam had a huge performance against Solway on Sunday, scoring 4 goals, including the winning shootout goal. So it was really instrumental, in that in coming back against Solway. We said about the big lead, and yeah, he's had a really good game there. He also scored versus Swindon, their only goal on Saturday as well. So I think based off his performance on the Sunday, and also that he deserves his place this week. We do need to give a shout out to his mate though, who's rinsing our team of the week at the minute. He could have easily been in again with 5 assists. He's just a joke, Yanni, isn't he? But we are trying to mix up a little bit. So Yanni, if you could slow down a little bit, mate, give other people a chance. We'd appreciate that. But also, boys, that you mentioned 1 or 2 players as well before we started recording. I think you was on about KB, weren't you as well?
Yeah, Kieran Brown again is finding his top form. He is flying at the minute. His goals and assists return at the minute the past few weeks has been a joke, and it's coming against the sort of best teams in the league as well. He isn't just stat padding against the lower teams in the league. Milton Keynes, Swindon's, Telford, and he's there, and he's really delivering. So fair play to him. He could have easily been in again.
One of our mob, you mentioned Bobby Chamber.
I did. I mentioned Bobby earlier. He was absolutely instrumental to our win on Sunday night, and I think he really helped us take that 10. He was just a credit to us, and I think without him, we say it's just what Bobby does, but to do that takes a lot. So fair play to him. Wanted to give him a huge shout out, and also another one of our own, Jordan McLaughlin. He had a fantastic performance on Sunday night when we really needed it. We mentioned it in Seahawks reaction, but I do think it's worth giving him a shout out in this team of the week. It was very close.
I wanted to give one more person out as well, Jake Bolton. Obviously they didn't have the game on Saturday, but he's got 3 points in that game, including a goal. We know how much of an hammer he's got. But I think, hammer of the shot. That is. Chill out, mate. But no, again, a real leader's performance with 5 defensemen against Peterborough. It's a pretty hard place to go in it. So he's done well there. So fair play to Bolts.
Yeah, I think we could have had a second team of the week with our shout outs there. We could have had a head to head there, which would have been cool. But big well done to everybody who's made it onto our team of the week this week. It's now time for us to look at our predictions and the upcoming games.
Why did you laugh about the word hammer?
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Slapshot Syndicate. Today we're joined by Dylan Stewart from the Solway Sharks. Dylan's going to talk to us today about his career so far, his time at Solway Sharks, and all things for the start of the NIHL season. So first and foremost, Dylan, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
So we'll delve straight into it. Just wanted to hear from you, for those that don't know, to tell us a bit about your career so far. Obviously we're aware you was in France last year, and was Europe on the cards, etc. So just in your own words, if you could tell us a bit about you.
Yeah, so my first pro deal that I signed right out of college, I went to school in my hometown in Edmonton. It was called NAIT, Northern Alberta Institute of Technology. Played there for a few years. Obviously, we had a canceled season during the pandemic, so we got an extra year. We won the championship in my 3rd year, but we lost every other year in the final, so that was kind of tough. But I really found my love for hockey going back to that school. I could have probably played in youth sports, but I played a level down just to kind of feel the puck more, and it really made my level of play improve and my joy of playing hockey come back after playing in the WHL, just not getting as many minutes as you're used to. So I ended up signing with the Utah Grizzlies it was supposed to be a year contract, went to the camp, and then a couple of AHL guys got sent down, then I was out of there, so I didn't really know what I was going to do. Comes at you quick. They can only hold so many players, so there's a lot of movement in that league. So I kind of had a familiarity with Huntsville. My old coach played there. And I was kind of speaking to them before about the SPHL, but I didn't know too much about the league. And then I ended up signing in Huntsville and had a really strong rookie year. It was an amazing place to play. We actually ended up selling out every game from December my first year to when I went back. So the fan support, you wouldn't expect it to be so crazy in Alabama, but they love hockey down there.
That's it.
And then, in my first year, we were a 5th seed, and we kind of bonded really hard as a group. We were very close. It's kind of the difference that I'd say between the coast and the SB. There's movement, but not as much, so you can actually create relationships with players. So it felt like we had a family. Ended up going on a bit of a run, and we went to the finals. Unfortunately, we lost to Peoria Rivermen, which really stung. And then I was set on going to Europe, so I was looking around. Ended up in France. It was a really cool spot in HCMP, the Courchevel. Lived on a mountain, but it ended up being it was a younger team, and just kind of had that unfinished business in the back of my mind with Huntsville losing the finals. Had basically the same group coming back, so I kind of had FOMO when the season started, watching their games, and parents were kind of wanting me to be a little closer to home, so I ended up going back. We had a really strong team last year. We just down the lineup, like anyone could score any given night. We were first majority of the year, ended up finishing second, and then the whole reason to go back was try to get a championship, and we ran into a hot goalie. Cole Cece actually plays for Romford now.
We're there. We're best stand, aren't we?
Yeah, he's a great goaltender. They took us out in the first round, so just thought it was time to. Before I started my pro career, I always had Europe in the back of my mind, so wanted to give it another go. And so far, I'm very happy being in Solway.
That sounds unreal, doesn't it?
Yeah, love that.
What was it about you? And we've spoken to quite a few guys, and they've all mentioned Europe, and hopefully that is the case because they've all been playing in England. But what was the attraction towards Europe and things like that? Obviously, there's some great leagues over here, but ice hockey notoriously is a North American sport, isn't it? So, what was it to sort of see the world, or what sort of brought you to Europe?
I think that kind of changes as you get older. I remember when I was a kid, obviously your goal is to make the NHL, and then once you start playing with guys that are actually getting drafted and stuff, and you think you could play with some of them, and then you see some guys that are a lot better than you not getting an opportunity, it's time to kind of change your goals. And mine changed a little earlier. It's funny, my grandma's from England, but we have family here close to Edinburgh, and they always used to write to me when I was young, or write to my grandma asking to come play hockey in Scotland. And I was like, I don't think there's hockey in Scotland, but it turns out there is. And kind of feels like meant to be that I ended up here after that. And yeah, just also another thing, I always thought the playing on the bigger ice is cool. Like for my game, I'm more of I'd say play more of a skilled game. So I'm always intrigued by that compared to the North American ice where just get hit every time you touch the puck. But yeah, and also like getting to come across the world, like it's a great opportunity that most people wouldn't get the chance to do and make a little money and create some lifelong memories.
That's unreal, isn't it?
Yeah.
And who was it? Was it your agent or people here? Like how did the move to Solway come about?
Yeah, after this season, I usually like to take a few, like maybe a month, probably I'd say, just to not think about hockey and just kind of digest everything from the previous year. Then once I kind of took the time, made the decision I want to go back to Europe, and then get into contact with my agent. And I was also talking to some buddies that play in Telford, Thompson, and Henderson, and they're mentioning the league. They said it's a great opportunity, it's fun. So I brought that up to my agent, and then Solway came through, and my buddy Eric had a buddy that played here last year, and he said nothing but good things. So
nice.
Yeah,
ended up working out.
We've heard nothing but good things about Solway, and obviously what sort of product they're building there as well. And obviously we've met with Jake recently, who's an import, so we're like big fans, to be honest with you. And so in terms of Solway itself, was it sort of the players that they was bringing in and the product they was building that attracted to you, or was it just the place in general and the obviously family ties, etc.?
Well, I had a really good conversation with our head coach, Martin Grubb. We call him Spud here. He just gave me a call. We talked for about 45 minutes, and I liked what he was talking about. And his main emphasis was they're so close to making playoffs last year and just needed something to get over the hump. And I kind of like the challenge of, obviously, a few players can't do it. It's a team effort, but the challenge of helping a team get better and grow since the success they had in the previous league they were in was just something that interested me. And also just kind of everything about it. Like it's Scotland, but you get to go all over England, and
Yeah.
the stuff I heard from my buddies, like you look outside, there's castles, it's green, it's a lot different from back home, so every day's pretty cool.
Iron brew on tap.
I actually think it's overrated.
Oh,
just kidding.
You're gonna be exiled. You're gonna be exiled now.
No, I'm just kidding.
So obviously it's been a bit of a tough start for Solway. Obviously pre-season with the lack of rink to play in and such and such. How has that impacted your game, the team, and everything you would normally do at the start of the season?
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge just not getting the reps, but it's also like you're not getting the camaraderie of being in the dressing room with the guys. Like we were originally practicing a little out of town, so it'd be a long car ride. You get there, practice, and then you don't get that team bonding that is so important at the start of the year. But I feel like we kind of felt as a group that like things are going to happen, like we're going to face adversity, but you can only control what you can control. So it's best to make we're all in the same boat. Like it's not like one person's getting it worse than the other. We can use it as something to bond over, find it like funny at times when something's not in our favor, and just try to make the best out of it. I think that's the only thing you can do. Personally, for my mindset, it was thinking like, yeah, this is a lot different, but if I react negative or just put any bad energy to it, that's not going to help me at all. So just water off a duck's back. Anything happens, just make the most out of it, and then just know there's light at the end of the tunnel, that the rink's going to be ready and we're going to be finding our footing. It might be a little delayed, but I have confidence in the group from what I'm seeing that we can take the steps once we get the proper reps and just build a little more chemistry on and off the ice.
I like that outlook, because it would be, obviously from the outside looking in, it'd be easy to sort of take the cards that you've been dealt and sort of use that as almost an excuse as to why you won't achieve. But that this Solway group, again from the outside looking in, it seems to be that they've really clubbed together and everybody's on the same page with that. And obviously some of the performances you put in recently, granted you may not got over the line, I think it really shows to the sort of the ethos and the bond that is building there, and potentially, but as it sounds, that's built off the same thing. So it's good to hear that from a fan, because we've mentioned a few times, haven't we, about the cards Solway being dealt and how tough that must be. And for anyone else, any other team, they may not have reacted to it in the way Solway have. So I think that's credit to you and the lads.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's definitely been a grind, but we've just been taking the cards we've been dealt, grinding, and now we got our home rink coming up, and the boys are ecstatic. We had our first practice last week, and the energy was off the chart. Sorry. And yeah, I can't wait to get into the rink on Friday.
Can't wait to ask you about that. We'll do that a little bit later on. But in
trying to see you guys up.
but in terms of that group and things like that, the chemistry must be building. You're, like you said, you're all in the same boat. But I can imagine that win against Sheffield, for example. After that, the atmosphere of all these cards being stacked against you, then you finally get that ground out win. I bet the bus ride home was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a good time. It really felt like a playoff game, that game. We came out strong in the second and took a good lead, and then it got a little tight there at the end. But I think our group they showed poise and just played like we've been there before, but we hadn't won a game yet. So we played relaxed and confident that we're going to win, and we knew how bad we needed to win. So I think everyone was just pulling on the rope, making sure we got it done. And then once we were done, it was a great feeling. Didn't really get a chance to celebrate it as we had another game, but it was all smiles on the bus, and the boys are pretty happy.
What does that kind of win do for a team like you guys? When you've got all these exterior sort of factors against you. I bet it gave the team a real boost, because again in the weeks following that, like even last night, that performance against Peterborough, you're going places now, and you can really see that progress start to be made, can't you?
Yeah, it's especially like coming out of the off season. You haven't won a game in 6 months. It starts to feel like, are we ever going to win a game again when you start getting going?
Yeah.
It's just like a goal scorer in a slump. Like a guy can get 10 shots a game and not score, and it's not like he's a bad player. And then once you see one goes in, they just start coming. So it the momentum was kind of getting up and down, like go on the ice and then no practice for a few days. And then, but like now we won't have to deal with that. So getting that first win, I feel like it just gave guys confidence, like, hey, we belong here.
Yeah.
And if we continue the work ethic that we put into that game and do that every night, we have a chance to play against anyone. We just got to maintain it and just have confidence that we belong.
Yeah, I love that. And it's almost like, you know, sometimes the strongest relationships are built through adversity, aren't they? And, you know, the chemistry that guys will have because of it. It's almost like trauma bonding, isn't it?
Yeah, we've said that a few times.
Yeah.
Not a long bus trips too, so a lot of time to talk about it.
Yeah, so no, that's really good to hear. So, just obviously moving on a little bit, you know, you've mentioned you've had some ties around the league with some players, but how is your relationship now with, you know, some of the other imports that have come into the team and are almost looking to lead the way for either goal scoring or, in Jake's case, you know, in defence? You know, what's that relationship like? Do you find you have to, coming from a sort of similar background and up against the same thing, do you find that relationship strikes quite early on?
Yeah, I think it's a bond coming into a new place together. I'm living with Olivier Arsenault right now, and he's been the perfect roommate for me. He's played here a few years, helps me out a lot, and he's a great guy. He's one of our assistant captains, so he's a leader, and he's a very positive guy to be around, so it makes everything easier as well. And he always leads by example, like he's going to the gym, and I'm like, oh, I guess I'll go. So he's doing the right things at all times. Derek Osick, I played against him in the SPHL. He's a great kid. We spend some time together. I feel like we always end up going back together to talk about things just because it's new to us and we've kind of had the same experience. He's a heck of a player. Gets so many chances a game, and I think he's going to pop off hard here soon. And whenever I get on the ice with him, it's pretty good. Like, we're going to create a couple of chances. And Jake Bolton, he's a great guy. He's a leader. He can control. He's like almost like a second coach. Like, he uses his voice a lot. When we didn't have our ice, we'd sometimes go out of town, just a couple of us, do some skill skates, and he'd run it. So just things like that, like guys stepping up and taking you under their wing and showing you the ropes. And just, we're Canadian and American, but we're all so far away from home. It just helps having someone that gets where you're coming from.
Yeah, he's massive as well, isn't he? So
yeah, he's a unit.
There's some intimidation there, isn't it?
One of the hardest shots I've ever seen, and he's a nail gun too. Like,
very true. Yeah. You said that, didn't you, last time he was at our
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so, when he's got at the point, sometimes I'm just sticking the stick out, trying to figure out go where one.
So a bit of a jokey one here, because Bolts will also mention you've got a bit of a fantasy league running as well.
Yeah, I actually just got blown out yesterday, so kind of a touchy subject.
So that's why
it's funny. Like we're doing American football, and half the guys don't know anything about it. So there's always scrambles on the bus. But I haven't really watched too much football the last couple of years. Just I'd watch it on Sundays, but I don't know too much either. So I had the second pick, and I'm 5-1 right now. But Jordan Bois said he's 5-1 as well. He just kind of blew my socks off. So got to regroup and make some adjustments to my roster. But Bolts he's like he's a commissioner, but he's like, all the UK guys are coming up to him asking for advice. He's helping everyone out.
Love that. True leader, eh? Yeah. Rate that. He's running rings around everybody. I love it. So, is there anybody, you know? I mean, there's a few new guys as well on the scene. So you've got Spacey and Boesa and Carter. You know, so I mean, they're obviously Brit guys, but you know, have you found it a little easier with those guys coming in as well? Because it seems like the new additions have been not the main men. I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody who's been there already, but you know, you guys have made up a lot of the points, haven't you? So like, how have you found playing with those guys as well? Is there anybody in particular, maybe not, that's an import that you've built a good relationship with already?
Yeah, I think the two Irish lads, Carter and Kel, we've been golfing a lot. I know Kel played on the team last year. Carter he's a one-of-a-kind guy. He's hilarious. Buesa, he took me and Ars to, works at a fishing dock, and he took me and Ars for a tour the other day in Troon. And yeah, Spearsy, I play on a line with him. He's a great guy. Like, love getting him the puck. He's a terrific shooter. Like, all these guys, and even guys from last year, like Joey Coulter, we call him Joey Dumfries. He's a huge glue guy. He wanted me to make sure I give him a shout out on here.
Love that.
But like, every guy on our team is class. Like, Scots are not just Scots, but Scottish people in general. They're just always happy. They're funny. They're keeping the room light, and it's a pleasure. It's fun to be around every day. Like, you never know what you're gonna get. Like, they talk 24/7. There's no.
I don't want to say it. Sorry to interrupt you. I don't want to say it as well because you're on the podcast. But from our perspective, if you could choose a team to play for crack, like Solway would be a great one to go to. So it definitely seems that way as well.
Yeah, you definitely got to have thick skin compared to like playing on a North American team, because they'll chirp you every second, but it's all love.
Yeah, that's class.
Have you found the sense of humour a little bit to get used to? We get known as Brits and Scots as having like a sort of different level sense of humour. Have you found it easy to gel with the lads in that sense, or any difficulty there?
I think it's easy. Like, to me, it's just everyone's smiling all the time, so you can't beat that. Like, even if they're just like making a joke or taking a piss or whatever, as you guys say down here, it's just it's a joy to be around. Like, back home, sometimes you wouldn't say things to people because they get offended, but here it's kind of just like, anything's on the line, but it's all in good fun, so you can't get offended.
All out of love. No,
they didn't make you do an initiation then. When you first
I think my initiation was, I didn't know what haggis was, and they told me it was something different, but I actually really liked it. I actually got it again today, but they told me it was like a wild Tasmanian devil, that the legs are shorter and longer and they run in a circle. And then after I ate it, they told me what it was, and I thought it was good, so I didn't mind.
You like it? Oh, that's all right then. A little haggis running around. That's crazy. That's so funny. That's ace. I love that. I was imagining you sometimes in initiations you get on the chair and like sing a song. Don't you? I was gonna say, what was your song? And can you imagine Jake Bolton? He'd need about 3 chairs when he's that one.
I did have to sing a karaoke song, but that was on it. Just to some of the boys.
Love that. Got it. Well, let's go into, before we touch on this weekend and how big it will be for you guys to be back in the ring. Let's just talk about you, because again, we've touched on Solway, and it's not been an easy start, but for you could say that you've had a really positive start to the league actually. So 8 games, I want to say 7 goals, 6 assists. Am I about right? Yeah. In the ballpark? I mean, that's nothing to wince, is it? Really, you've had a really good start to the league. Do you feel that in yourself as well? And do you have any like aims for the season, or is it just team mentality?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I know we started off kind of in a hole in point wise, but the number one goal is to get the team into playoffs, and obviously, like, our imports are going to need to do a lot of scoring. That's for any team. So every game I want to do my best to create points for all players. And even coming here, I'm doing things I didn't normally do back home, like killing penalties, playing more. So I just want to kind of improve at those aspects, the defensive aspects of the game too, because obviously in this league, there's a lot more scoring. The games are a little more wide open. And yeah, number wise, I just want to do what I can to help the team win. It's the most important, first and foremost. Sorry.
Well, it sounds like that's exactly what you're doing at the moment, and like you say, it's even more of a credit to you to be able to pick up them sort of points and goals, in games that you haven't come out the other side of. So I know like the Solway team will obviously be looking at you, and you're taking that leadership role and taking the responsibility and the weight, more importantly, to go and deliver for your team. So I think they can only be but proud of you so far.
Thank you.
I'm confident, based off what we've seen so far, that you'll go ahead and continue on that run in the season, and who knows where you'll be towards the end of it.
Yeah, I feel once we start getting more consistent 3-day-a-week practices too, I feel like we can do some more damage, get some more goals. Just when you're not skating, the timing and everything goes off a little bit, so that's been an adjustment. But I think starting off pretty strong with the numbers, it's just good for my confidence, and I can just build on that and keep getting better, and hopefully start bearing on a little more chances.
Cool. So I just want to touch slightly on, obviously, the weekend just gone. We know you guys had a little bit of a struggle, and no doubt you'd have probably either been at Basingstoke when the game got called off, or certainly, there or thereabouts. But how was that, to receive a call at such a late time and get told actually the game's off, when no doubt you'd have all been hyping yourself up and getting yourself in that game mindset to then have the rug pulled under you, so to speak?
Yeah, it was a little strange. It's one of our longest trips, so we left way earlier than usual. And I feel like we hadn't played a game in a long time, so we were all pretty fired up. And I usually can't sleep on the bus, and for some reason I was out cold, like sleeping, and then I hear us stopping. I thought we were at the rink. We were about an hour out, and I take my AirPod out, and they go, "The game's canceled." I'm like, "Oh, they're pranking me again because I was sleeping or something." And then they go, "No,
Haggises on this bus."
And then I look around, and they're like, people are kind of like laughing and joking around, like, "Can't believe this is happening to us." And I was like, "Oh, I don't think this is a joke." And then
yeah,
and then we just kind of
cards, and that's probably one of the hardest to take, isn't it? And it's
just sorry,
go on. It sounds almost like I'm a bit petty, me, so I'd be like, "Give us the points then." But you, like you've just said, like, how many hours is that on the bus from Dumfries? It must be 5, 6, 7 hours, maybe.
I think 7-hour trip.
7 hours to get that. That's ridiculous, isn't it? Surely there should be something in place to be. And I know that obviously it'll be from a place where, health and safety wise, don't want you boys getting on the ice and getting hurt. Like, totally agree with that 100%. But God, like, that must have been such a.
Yeah, I just question, like, you would have probably known sooner than if the game was going to go ahead. So they probably could have given you more notice, and definitely should have done. But I mean, your outlook there was really good. You're saying, you and the lads were sort of laughing about it, and I think that's testament to you to sort of take it all in jest and take it with your stride, and it'll only build you stronger. But so did you then have to turn around and go back to Dumfries, or did you decide, okay, we go to Solway? We go to Peterborough for the night?
We ended up going closer to the hotel we were supposed to stay at after the game, which was good, and we got to check in right away. So we just looked at it as more time to just hang out, and just had a nice evening at the hotel. Didn't do anything, but just for me, it was more like, yeah, that sucks, but I'll turn into a positive. Now we get to go have a sleep and go straight to the game without such a long trip like we've been doing, so you don't have to bus back. So
and it probably
I just thought of it. They'll probably make that game up sometime, so just move on to the next thing and try to get the win the next day.
It probably reflected in the Peterborough game as well, didn't it? Because you guys was like really hot at it.
Yeah. One thing we were really excited for the Basingstoke game is we had our rink, so we were practicing 2 days in a row. So we practiced the day before going, so we were pretty excited to usually always play better when you practice on the day before. You feel it better. You don't have to get everything figured out in the warm-up the next day. So that was kind of a tough pill to swallow. But yeah, we came out strong in Peterborough, and I think we played a good 60 minutes, and overtime, just shootout, anything could happen.
Yeah, that's it, innit? Like, it's a bit of a bitter pill to swallow, but like you say, you took Peterborough to a shootout, and then when that's the case, it can just go either way. And I don't think there's any shame to any team losing in a shootout. It's just sometimes that's how it goes. So it was good to see, obviously, you as a team putting in some good performance this weekend, and yeah, long may it continue. It's just a shame, obviously, Basingstoke. Well, and not the team, but Planet Ice, more importantly, would have known about that sooner and probably could have given you more notice. We probably should have given them a taste of their own medicine yesterday and cancelled the game in Hull.
So just moving on a bit more. So obviously you're coming to your first home game of the season for the coming weekend. You know, how are you feeling about that? You know, yourself as a team. Have you heard anything about how the Solway fans are, the Scottish fans, and you know?
I heard they love their chants in the crowd, and I heard it gets pretty packed. And from people I know around the league and from the guys, everyone says great things about the quality of their ice too, which is huge in this league because some games by the third period the puck is like not really sliding. So, and we've practiced there twice now. I like the dimensions in that rink, like really small neutral zone, wide, fun zones to play around with the puck in. So, yeah, I'm also just excited not to be like stepping off the bus going into the arena. That's a huge thing in sports, like. By our situation, the 9 road games, I kind of just pretended that home games didn't existed, so I was used to the bus. But being able to have a nap in your own bed on the day of game and make your own meal, it does wonders for how you feel walking into a game. So I think that will be big for us as well.
Yeah, I can imagine. And I don't know, we've had the privilege of meeting quite a few of the Solway fans, and they're going to be bang up for this one. The atmosphere in that rink will be something special. So whilst there's high expectations, I'm confident you guys will be able to live up to that and give them a good show.
Yeah, shout out to them. They've been traveling around this whole. I swear we have fans at every game, so that's great to see. And we want to give back to them and give them something to cheer about and start turning this thing around.
Yeah.
And what a fairy tale it'd be to beat the current league, well, not current league leaders, but last year's league champions in your first game back at home. Like, what a story that'd be.
Yeah, that'd be a great way, almost like a Disney movie, to really set the tone for the official start of our home and away season.
And regardless, I think the boys in the stands, or boys and girls, sorry, in the stands will be right there behind you, won't they? And it'll definitely push you on.
Yeah. So before we sort of, wrap up, just maybe a couple of trivial, quick questions. So obviously you played a lot on the road at the moment. What's been your favourite or best place to play so far?
I think my favorite place, not just because we won, was Sheffield. I thought it was a pretty cool rink.
Yeah.
I do like Hull, but the results haven't really been there, so I don't like it as much. So Sheffield, I like just like the facility. You walk in and there's like bubble hockey and a lot of space to warm up. So I enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is there a close second there?
Close second, maybe Hull, probably.
Good. We've got to mention.
What about players? And so obviously you spoke about Hendo, your friend from the league. Is there anybody that you've played against and thought, wow, like this guy's really got something here? I'm sure there'll be a couple of players, but is there anybody of note, or maybe a real tough defenseman that you've played against?
I thought we've played them twice in preseason and Hull. I thought they were really good offensively and they moved the puck well. I feel like that was one of the toughest matches we've had so far. Swindon was good defensively our first game, and shooting on CC, Romford's goalie. He's hard to beat. Like, I know we scored a couple, but like it took a lot. Like, you're not going to beat him on a normal shot. And I think I'm not too familiar with everyone's names yet, so it's hard for me just to.
Yeah. I just, again, on CC, I think he's going to be pivotal for Romford this season. We've obviously witnessed him firsthand, haven't we? And he's going to really upset some teams just on his own, because there's the frustration that comes in for the puck not going in the back of the net, and especially against us, you've got the firepower like you talk about. You've got Chambers, Speck, Sobchak. You've got some of these fantastic players all struggling to get the puck in the back of the net, and I think that they're going to turn some results against some teams. I just wanted to give him a shout out really about his introduction to the league and how pivotal he seems he's going to be as well. No, I think obviously we want to hear from you, but and we have, and the fans will definitely tune in. But for you, I think it would be good if you've got a message at all for the Solway fans ahead of your upcoming game, and if so, what that would be.
I think we just want to say thank you for sticking with us, traveling around and supporting us. I know it hasn't been easy, but things are getting better every day. It's starting to feel like it's a real season now, and Friday we get to go on the ice and start building, not just as a team but as a community, and start turning this thing around. And we want to give you guys the best product on the ice, and we love to hear you in the crowd, and we just can't wait to get going and appreciate all the support so far.
Great stuff. Well, we'll be following closely this weekend. Definitely, if you can keep in touch with us, give us a bit of a lowdown of how it goes at weekend as well, because we'll love to hear from you. But for all the fans watching out there, this is Dylan Stewart from the Solway Sharks. Thanks a lot for joining us, Dylan. We really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. That was fun.
Appreciate it. Thank you both.
Cheers, buddy.
So now we're going to look at our scores on the doors. Rossy's got the magic book of the predictions and how we fared for the week, and we'll also have a look at the upcoming fixtures and the weekends and do our predictions for those. I think we'll just hand over straight away to you, Ross, and you give us the details.
How we were feeling?
Honestly, not that confident.
I feel like I might be bottom this week. Out of the three of us, I think I've probably had the worst week this week.
It does my head in that I can't actually remember what I've said, but
everything's in the moment. We sort of talk about it, and then I could literally walk out the room 5 minutes later. Oh, do you remember what you predicted? No.
Yeah.
Obviously, two other people don't watch the podcast. No, I'm joking. First of all, boys, just want to get this back out and milk it for all that I can while it lasts. Last week's winner. We'll place it on here as we always do. Yeah, interesting week, boys. So, if I remember rightly, boys, we said if we come out and we've scored 5 or 6 points, we've done well this week. Mm-hmm. Well, it's fair to say, boys, it's safe to say we all did better than that.
Oh well.
Okay. So, one of us scored 9.
Wow.
Somebody's
got a right result.
One of us scored 7, and one of us, boys, scored 11.
What? Is that someone potentially taking the top spot?
So, well, what if it was Azza?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, potentially.
Oh yeah. So, the contributing factors was the person with 7 corrected 7 correct. The person with 9 got 1 correct score.
Ooh.
The person with 11 got 2 correct scores.
You lads!
Not been done yet, boys. We'll do the scores on the doors before this week. Keep your attention in there. So before the start of the week, we had Azza in first place with 31 points, and then me and you was drawing 24, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can confirm that this week the person who scored 7 was Azza.
I thought it would be. I told you I had a bad one.
Yeah, you
So,
did, didn't you?
So between me and you, right? So one of us got 1 correct score.
You bagged up here.
One of us got 2 correct scores. So the person who got 2 correct scores and has won it this week is Rossy.
You're joking.
Oh no! I got 4-3 Romford and Bristol correct, and I got Hull and Basingstoke 5-2 correct.
Oh. Did you know that last night?
Yeah.
Did you?
No, sorry, Hull and Basingstoke, no. And then Brad has predicted Telford Swindon 4-3 on the Sunday. So that puts us now, it's the gap shortened, let's just say that. So we've now got Brad in last place with 33 points, closely following me in second place with 35, but Azza is only 3 points ahead of me now with 38. So there's 5 points in it now, boys, from top to bottom. Yeah.
Really?
So good week. Well, interesting weekend that.
Yeah, fair play.
Cheers, mate.
You deserve that one after that.
Well done, mate. 2 results as well.
Appreciate
it's
it,
a big
boys.
shout.
Nice
Well
one. Right. We'll pop it back over to the side. I'm not one to gloat.
I'm gonna have to concentrate on this now.
Yeah, you're the amount of like grief you give him as well, and he's made you look alright now.
After coming second this week as well, after quite a high scoring weekend, I'm last.
It's unfortunate really, because if I hadn't got that second one right, you'd have won it.
Yeah.
I'd have been in 8 points winner, so it's just luck of the draw, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
So,
with that said then, fellas, let's not make it too personal. There's still a long way to go.
Yeah.
And we'll look at the upcoming fixtures. So, Friday, 24th of October, 3 games on a Friday, unheard of.
Interesting.
First game, Bristol Pitbulls host Milton Keynes Lightning. Past weekend with the Pitbulls, bit of a tough one to call, perhaps, yeah.
Well, is it home form for them? But
this is a hard one, harder to call than you think, you know.
I agree, but I'm gonna take a punt because what have I got to lose? I think Milton Keynes will obviously get the win on this one.
That's a punt.
No, but I mean I'm gonna go first, but I'm gonna think it'll be quite like 7-2.
See, that's
like
funny.
7-2.
That is real funny because I was going to go Milton Keynes 7-4.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, just something screams 7 for Milton Keynes tonight.
Okay. I'm gonna back MK2. I'm gonna go a little lower. I'm gonna go 5-2 to MK.
Okay, interesting. So we've all gone for a bit of a sizable score there, really.
Yeah.
All in favour of MK. Solway Sharks, first home game of the season, host Leeds Knights.
now this is a real difficult one because that place is going to be like.
Can I go first? What have we got to lose? I'm going to back Solway to win 4-3.
Ooh.
Why not? Why not? Imagine that. We was talking earlier with our new mate Stewie, and we said what a fairy tale that'd be to have that first win and kick off their season. I might look an absolute idiot at this time next week, but I'm willing to sacrifice a point for it. 4-3 Solway.
I'm struggling with this.
Leeds Knights 5-2.
Fair enough.
Just that form that they're building at the minute is just becoming the standard.
Any other week, I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I'm also going to go Leeds Knights, but I think it'll be 3-2.
3-2.
I think it's going to be quite close.
So
nice little contrast in scores there between us as well. So
Yeah.
be interesting to see how that one plays out. And the final fixture on the Friday, Swindon Wildcats host the Basingstoke Bison.
This ain't easy to predict
No.
based off what Basingstoke have just done with us. Although I do think that they struggled a little bit towards the end of the game with injuries, so hopefully that doesn't affect them too much. Hopefully they can get on the ice as well this week and train.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Still going to the link, are they?
It's
absolutely,
the link,
yeah, definitely, yeah. No, I was gonna say.
Yeah. I'll go first, and I'll go Swindon Wildcats 4-2.
Okay.
I'm going to go a bit higher. I'm going to go Swindon Wildcats 6-2.
Okay. I'm gonna go Swindon 5-3.
Okay.
5-3.
Interesting one to watch this on the Friday night. It's hard to say which one's going to be the game of Friday really, because I think that Milton Keynes Pitbulls has got potential to maybe be a bit of a banana skin and a bit of a goal fest.
I might even, you know what, I break off on Friday for a week. I might buy the Leeds and Solway stream. Just why not? See the first game back. If it's decent, like I'd be happy with that. I might take a cheeky bet just.
So Saturday, 25th of October, Sheffield Steel Dogs host Bristol Pitbulls. So Pitbulls against MK on the Friday, and then the Saturday Sheffield.
Yeah, obviously we don't know what's going to happen on that Saturday, but I've got a sneaky suspicion that MK might take them to the sword and take a little bit out of them. Sheffield Steel Dogs at home, they're always a bit of a tough customer. I'll go Sheffield 5-2.
Oh,
I was literally Sheffield 5-3.
Oh,
And I think it'll just be the empty net at the end, which is why it's a 2-goal game.
Yeah.
I might sound like a donut here, boys, but I'm gonna go Sheffield 5-1.
You.
I don't know why. I just think after this weekend, Sheffield are going to be right, boys. Come on then, let's show them what we're about. These statement winning. I believe this is their first game of the weekend, isn't it? So you know, I just think why not? Let's make an example of them. You know.
Yeah. Next game, Romford Raiders host the Hull Seahawks. This one's a tough one.
This could be a real difficult one because
Really
Romford at home with CC in the net. Like
That's the thing, innit?
That's a tough
Look what
one.
they did to Bristol last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But look what Sheffield did to them, put 9 past
I
them.
know.
Yeah,
So it's just one of
tricky,
those.
innit?
It's such a tough one.
Whichever
to call
team's
this.
going to turn up, like
Yeah.
Literally, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we need some away form as well. Like obviously. I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna say Hull Seahawks 5-3.
I'm literally same score other way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Romford. I don't know, just our form at the minute, and just
That could go.
I
either
can't
way.
look by CC in goal. I can
Yeah.
just see he's gonna be a nightmare, and just us away.
He'll win Romford like 30% of their points at home, and just by
I'm either going to win the predictor or Seahawks are going to win and we get finally like back-to-back wins, which would be nice. Winner for me.
Yeah. Don't talk too soon with the Sunday game either. I'm gonna go Seahawks 4-3. 4-3.
Real interesting game, that.
Yeah,
Possibly one of the
it's
hardest to
I
call of
agree.
the
Yeah,
weekend.
it's loads of circumstance around that, isn't there?
Yeah. Next game, Basingstoke Bisonhurst, Peterborough Phantoms. If the ice is repaired, there isn't the concrete exposed in the corner.
So there's a question mark over this game, definitely. But maybe we should give if any of us want to change our prediction, so you can either go correct score and winner, or whether the game goes ahead.
So we get a point if we get it right.
I've got a feeling the game's not going ahead. 3 points. Called off an hour before kicking off. If we just correct score.
Correct the time period of how soon it gets
Within
called
the
off.
hour. Between 5 and 6
That's
o'clock,
rotten,
that's
that.
called off. Do you know what, boys? I'm gonna go for it. If this goes ahead, I'm going for a Basingstoke win, 3-2.
I'm also going for a Basingstoke win. I'm gonna go.
He thought he was going to be the only one to go for this.
I did.
I'm gonna go 4-2. Empty there.
Like it.
You know what? I was going to say I'm going to Peterborough now. I'm not going to go for Peterborough. It's a points game. This. I'm going to go. Yeah, I'll go Basingstoke, and I'll go 5-4.
Oof.
5-4.
Some scoring that.
5-4.
Big one, boys. Big
really
one.
hard to predict.
MK Lightning host the Swindon Wildcats. Swindon coming off that first regulation loss, but we know how good they are. We've just predicted that they would win. The night before at the Link.
Yeah.
But going to Milton Keynes.
Yeah, Milton Keynes, notoriously hard place to play. We've just talked about obviously Telford and MK being having their home ice.
I'm just battling myself.
But I'm gonna go with my gut feeling, and I'm gonna go Swindon.
I thought I was going to be the odd man going for that.
I'm going Swindon 3-2.
4-2 MK then. I'll count it.
Yeah.
I was going to go Swindon in the hope I'd be the only one to do it, but no, I'll stick with that home form for
I
MK.
was also gonna just wait till you two pick Swindon to try and pick a cheap point off MK. So now that it's on as even, I'll go with my gut, and I'm gonna say that Swindon are gonna drag out. What score did you say?
3-2.
4-2. I was gonna say
it literally could go either way.
Yeah,
Really
definitely
close.
could.
Yeah, it is a tough one to call. The final fixture on the Saturday, fellas. Telford Tigers host the Solway Sharks.
Yeah. I'll go first, but I fail to see how Telford don't come away from this game with the points. I'm gonna go Telford 5-2.
I was going to go a bit bigger. I was going to go 7-2 Telford. Okay. I just think it's, the immersion around that home game on the Friday for Solway against a tough Leeds side, and then to sort of pack up your emotions and then take it down to Telford, really tough place to go and travel to, and just that Telford team, if you come with any sort of weakness, they'll pick you off.
Yeah, no, well, that's true. And Solway, if they are like numbers down and they're giving away those power plays, Telford are not the team you want to be doing that against. They like you said, as they will pick you off.
Yeah.
They've been known to pick teams off this season and literally win off their power plays. So yeah, it's really interesting. I'm gonna go similarly to you guys. I'm gonna go 5-2 to Telford.
Okay. That's
5-2.
interesting. So then we come on to the Sunday fixtures. So first one, Leeds Knights host the Sheffield Steel Dogs. So sort of replica of what we saw this past week, where Leeds took it 3-2.
And I jump
What
in
do you
first.
think? Yeah.
6-2 Leeds.
Jeez, he's jumped straight off the bat.
I feel like it's quite a consistent one, that really. They can have a couple like MK last week, the week before. 6-2 Leeds.
I'll go 5-3 Leeds.
I'm going to go 4-2 Leeds.
Fair. Nice and easy.
Yeah. So tough one for our boys. Hull Seahawks host the Telford Tigers. Be our first sort of glimpse of Telford in the flesh to see what they're about this season.
My heart is saying Seahawks, but I strategically need to pick up some points, and I feel like to go against Telford is going to be a stupid decision at the moment to do that. So I'm going to go Telford 4-3.
Okay.
Telford 5-2.
Okay.
I'm the same as you. I'd love to see Seahawks come out with this, but
This would be so big for us
if we manage to do that.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah, like, you'll probably agree with me, but I am so happy to be wrong on that one.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Telford are a team that I just don't want to bet against this year. But I think we're a different beast at home. I think the fans get into it. I might have egg on my face next week. I'm gonna go 5-3 Seahawks.
So you go
I'm glad one of us did go for that, because you've got points to spare at the minute. So. Against me, you have.
No, it's an interesting one. You know, like I said, I've gone for Raiders when they host Hull on the Saturday, and you hope that the Seahawks pull it off, but when you just look at things, it's just you almost just can't.
It's more like we know we have the ability to do it.
Yeah, but we're just not quite seen it yet.
It's hard to bet against Telford at the moment.
A team that are flying.
It's not really a reflection on Hull. It's more betting against Telford that
exactly.
Like look what they did to Swindon last week. Like it's
I
really
think,
hard to bet against a team that's doing that.
I mean, if Seahawks manage to pull that off, we're happy. But I think a lot of the other teams at the top of the league are just like, well, that's a big one. That
massive, and it almost sends a message, doesn't it, to the rest of the league saying like we're not out of it yet.
Yeah.
So.
Final fixture of the weekend, fellas. Peterborough Phantoms host the Romford Raiders. So again, I think this one's quite a tough one to call.
I'll go first again if you want.
Yeah.
I think it'll be quite a similar one. I think Peterborough quite like a home game, so I'm gonna go 5-2 to Peterborough.
Okay. I think I'm going to go 3-2 Peterborough.
I might as well play a bit of a wild card here, I'm gonna go Romford Raiders 3-2.
Nice.
That finishes Sunday, but we've got some midweek games.
We do. We might have to.
We don't have to do these because we'll be recording on the Monday, so it'll come out on the Wednesday, which means these Thursday fixtures will be part of next episode.
Okay.
So we're
cool. Okay.
So we'll leave it there then, fellas. That's the fixtures for the upcoming weekend. A few tough ones to call in there. Maybe some hopeful ones from us trying to pick up points. As always, please get involved. Send your predictors in. It's always interesting to reflect and see what other people think, especially since you have a different perspective following your teams. And that concludes our episodes this week, fellas. Big thank you from us. Anything personally you'd like to say?
No, just reiterate the normal. Thanks for joining us. We love doing this, and what we've got coming this season is going to be massive for us, we think. We just love the engagement we're getting at the moment, so keep it coming.
Yeah, and I think a big thanks again to Dylan Stewart for joining us this week. Ahead of their game this week, first round game, and I think we all would like to wish Solway good luck in the first round game. But yeah, just big thanks to him for getting involved. Thanks to everybody. The player interviews are back, and it won't be too long before the next one. Let's just say it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you in the next one.